This cavern was as hot as the inside of a furnace. Daniel soon discerned the source of the heat, which was also the one and only exit from the third hell. On the other side of the chamber, carved into the rock wall, loomed a gigantic stone face. Its wide-open mouth suddenly belched out roaring flames. The ground surrounding the image was strewn with scorched bones and blackened corpses. And as the jet of fire subsided, bronze fangs clashed together in a smoking maw. And when the teeth opened, the searing fire streamed forth again. Daniel studied the awful contrivance with its curiosity, trying to plan a way of jumping through the open jaws when neither fire nor fangs would touch him. After a few minutes' observation, he concluded that it would be impossible. The only alternative to plunging through the fire itself would be to sit down at the far edge of the cavern and wait for the flames to eventually burn out. But when he looked to either side, this option did not seem promising. In the shadows along the walls, huddled rank upon rank of the living dead. Loss of hope had dimmed their eyes, and the dust of ages had made them gray as stone, while they waited for the fires of hell to subside. With a grim resolve, Daniel waited for the fangs to snap shut, and then he sprinted toward the mouth. "No, no, don't do that! You'll be destroyed," mournful voices wailed. A blazing ball of fire raced to meet him. He clutched El's medallion and plunged into the flames. The firestorm was hot, but not hot enough to stop him. He dived headfirst through the open mouth. An instant before the metal teeth clashed together, Daniel somersaulted to his feet. He lost his lamp, his water bag, and his knapsack, but he still held the medallion in his fist, and he was past the flame. On the next door was just ahead, marked with the sign of the sun below the horizon line. Again, the formula worked, and the door swung open. Daniel found himself in a crystal maze of narrow passages through naturally polished surfaces, and he soon came to a fork in the path between the glycine walls. Which way should he go? Reflected simulacrums of himself stared back from several different directions. He soon discovered that these images were more than mere reflections. They had minds and opinions of their own. The only way you'll ever get through is to keep running to your right. Keep turning to your right, one of them told Daniel in a perfect imitation of his own voice. No, don't listen to him. You have to keep turning left, another image insisted. No, turn right and then left, a third suggested. No, turn right twice and left twice, a fourth argued. Daniel held up his medallion. The tip of the first wing, going counterclockwise, curved up to the left. On intuition, he took the left-hand fork and made his way deeper into the maze. At the next dividing point, he took the right-hand path, and so on for another 6 turns, following the wing points of the talisman until he reached a dead end. The 8th passageway ended in a cul-de-sac. Daniel faced a sheer wall blocking his way. His image on the crystalline surface mocked him. There's only one way out and 10,000 dead ends, his reflection declared. Turn around and go back. In what had become an unconscious reflex, Daniel's hand touched the priest king's medallion. At the gesture, his reflected image changed into that of King Shem, and the Melchizedek spoke. That last reflection of yours was telling you the truth, but in a misleading way. Now think carefully on the literal meaning of what he said. Daniel pondered for a moment, and then he turned around, faced away from the crystal wall, and stepped backward through it as if he had no more than a curtain, had been no more than a curtain of morning mist. He door, emblazoned with the upside-down symbol of Venus, and the now familiar golden triangle. The ancient device again yielded to the fifth permutation of El's secret name, and the king of Bashan found himself standing on the edge of a featureless plain over which was strewn an endless litter of desiccated human flesh, bones, and body parts. Giant black ravens circled in the air, shrieking defiantly, or strutted through the carnage, picking at tidbits of gore. As Daniel surveyed this desolation, he felt an awful corruption expanding from his bowels up into his belly. His body swelled up like a dead horse until it finally exploded. The airborne ravens descended on his scattered remains to disperse them further, an eyeball north, an eyeball south, an ear to the east and an ear to the west, with entrails spread around all the points of the compass. But the medallion lay in the exact center point of his dispersion, and his consciousness had remained with it. Mentally, he recited the sixth permutation and the eight-winged talisman, which was itself a form of compass, the end to draw his scattered parts together again. And when Daniel was complete, he walked easily across the field of woe until he came to the sixth door, which readily opened to his touch, admitting him into the courtyard of his own familiar palace. His household and all his vassals and his lords greeted him with applause. And wonder of wonders, Prince Aqhat was there, alive and smiling, and he held out a golden goblet. Your sacrifices saved us all, and I'm resurrected. The land is fruitful again. Drink to a new life. Daniel took the cup Aqhat offered, but he hesitated to drink from it. He had thus far passed through only 5 hells, so this must be the 6th. Let the earth drink first, he said, and poured out a libation that withered the grass at his feet. The illusion vanished in an instant, revealing a gray cavern wall and the 7th door. Passing through the portal, Daniel found himself in his own bedchamber. His beloved Queen Canaanite, her sweet face streaked with tears, rushed into his arms. "Oh, Daniel, thank the gods you've won through all the hells and made your way to me." The king's heart was wrenched with a painful yearning that turned into a bitter rage. This too is an illusion. The gods are cruel beyond belief. No, Canaanite insisted, they are merciful. When I heard that you had vowed to enter the underworld, I knew you would never return. I couldn't bear to live without you, so I took my own life, hoping against hope that we might find each other in the caverns of the dead. He held his magical amulet out to her, and with a soul-deep sadness thickening his voice, he said, "Kiss the eye of the All-Father and swear that what you say is true." As he feared, the vision of his life's love vanished instantly. He stood ankle-deep in green slime. The 7 hells he had passed through were pallid dreams compared to the intensity with which his senses perceived this awful environment. He was in a vast, dank, echoing cavern, lit by smoking torches and flooded with putrid sediment. Flanking him on either side, as escorts, stood 2 giant yellow-winged creatures, half insect and half human. They spoke to each other in chittering whispers. Before him, in the midst of this subterranean swamp, rose a stone dais, surrounded by torches and surmounted by a funeral pyre. And on the black marble slab, the Lord Cloud Rider, Baal-Hadad, was laid out in his armor, utterly still and bloodlessly pale. Just beyond Baal's tomb, crouching atop a taller platform, loomed the scorpion throne of the Dark Lord Mot. The black-robed and hooded god of death lounged at ease under the curving arch of the huge arachniid's tail. From the stinger above him, bright yellow droplets of venom fell down into a skull cup, which Moat held in his left hand. With the long, bony finger of his right hand, he motioned his locust men to usher the king of Bashan to the foot of his throne. Moat sipped the hell broth and licked his thin lips. "Daniel," he said, "your time is not yet. Why are you here?" Daniel gave a brief account of the adventures that had befallen him and his family, remembering his sorrowful experience in the last and final hell, and he ended his summary with an inquiry after his wife. "Well, at this moment she still lives," the Lord of Darkness informed him. "And you tell an amusing story. I hear so many sad stories. You have no idea how boring they can be." Moat pondered the issue of Daniel's trespass. Then he said, "Well, as you know, I specialize in endings. And if I were to keep you here, this tale of yours would not come to a satisfactory conclusion." "Well, may Prince Baal return with me now?" Daniel dared to ask. "No, my brother must remain here until the daylight and darkness are equal. But you may at least speak with him." Now King Daniel bowed respectively to the Dark Lord, turned and slogged his way through the muck to the slippery stone steps leading up to Baal's resting place. The mighty Prince of Thunder lay inert and very pale. Daniel was not sure he would respond, but he had to try. "Lord Baal, it is I, your earthly servant Daniel. Do you hear me?" The dormant god's eyes remained closed, but his lips moved ever so slightly as he whispered, "Yes, Daniel, I hear you."